gonna pick one? Okay. That's yours. So if you want to know a secret about me, one of the things that I do not like is wind. So, spoiler alert, today it's super windy outside. I don't know if you can see the leaves blowing by, but I think it's going to be a bit of a personal challenge to see if I can get this video done in the wind. And I want to post it regardless of if it goes good, bad, otherwise we're posting it because that'll be part of the challenge. So we'll see how it goes. So today I was going to use chakra cards. So they're like tarot, but for equines. They all have their own chakra. And then you can go through and put your intention just like you do with tarot, and then go through and select one for the horse, the situation, whatever. And if you don't have tarot cards like these, I have them on Etsy. I'll put them in the description. But if you don't have these, you don't need them. You can totally write it on a piece of paper. You can write body parts on a piece of paper. You can write pretty much anything and then select from the little pieces of paper with the intention of working on that for the day. Of working with my system first and how I find the wind. I'll select one. I'll just cut it and see what the top one is. You get to see first. Root. Well, that's for me. And I'm going to work with mine first with the horses present, and then I'll pull one for each of them. So I sat down with the intention of working with the root chakra that came up for me with the wind, if he doesn't like the camera. And of course, as things go, because I had the intention of working with the wind and my system, I feel better, more balanced in the wind than I probably have in a long time. But I'm still going to do a little bit more connection to the root and see what comes up. So as I was sitting here kind of connecting into that root chakra for myself, I had the idea of allowing the wind to move the root chakra a little bit more. So allow a little bit of movement following the wind's initiation in. And as soon as that idea came in, there were two little gusts and both horses tucked their tails and kind of scooted just very gently. Then a big, long, sustained kind of space of wind came through. And that they both became more still through. So I thought that was an interesting reflection on both sides of the spectrum, having choice what to do with the wind instead of resisting it in the body. So now I feel pretty grounded. I'm going to have the intention just from here looking at them to see if either one of them wants me to work with them. And I think that would be a yes. Okay, we're going to work with her. So I'm just going to watch her for another moment and see if anything comes up in my imagination, or aka intuition. Yeah. So I was watching her graze, and it's a little hard to see on camera. I can maybe zoom in a little bit. But as she grazed, she kind of twitched the upper cervical region. Yeah. And it kind of twitched behind her left ear, and sometimes she has or likes to hold a bit of tension there. Hi, Mama. Yeah, would you like that? So that's what I'm going to focus on. And I'm going to take the lick and a chew as an affirmation, or not, whatever, but I'm going to take it as one. And we'll see. Hi, love. You gonna pick one? Okay. That's yours. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. We can do you too. Yeah. He's a bit of a, if you give anyone else attention, we're gonna have a problem with that kind of gelding. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's you. With the intention of Raja, or the bay mare, for her upper neck, we're gonna go this one, and it is sacral. So they've kind of positioned me. I've tried 3 times to kind of get a place for them to rest, and she's positioned me kind of bisacral, and I'm standing in the middle of them, and he's positioned me right in front of his heart. So I'm just going to stand here and see how that goes. Time I've had the intention of working with that pretty one there, she's blocked me and put a horse in between us. So it's either, I mean, we can invent a million reasons, but it could just be timing, space, any of the above, anything that comes into your mind. So I'm going to leave that for a minute, unless she comes over again. But I'm going to see if we can do, because he's stayed quite close, hands-on for him. And of course, somebody came into the mix. So I am going to follow that original intention and see if it changes as per their actions. So for him, for heart chakra, either side, left may be more appropriate. And he's moving, so, and literally giving me the left side, mostly, kind of. Right? I'm going to see if left side is more appropriate. Or hands-on might not be appropriate today too. It's all a bit a comedy of errors when you're a human trying to follow horse time and horse intuition and their body and all of the things. So I'm going to put hand on here, and he's going to decide to move everybody out of this space, which might be an interesting metaphor for me to move out of this space too. And she put her butt right on my shoulder. So we'll see if we can do hand on here. Hi. Yeah. I'm just doing hand on sacrum here. And we'll see what happens, what changes. She took a big breath and so did I. So I'm just gonna wait and watch for a little bit. And that may be to get me more equal. Or she might want a little distance too. I'm gonna just scratch that for her. Not necessarily because I wanted to scratch it, but because it was a good opportunity, for me to say, yeah, I am listening to you. I saw that, I heard that, there was communication there, and I'm gonna say yes to that right now. And it doesn't feel super connected right now, but I might be too close. And especially when you're working on an energetic level, like my intention is an energetic piece, an energetic chakra, the energy field of that is much larger than physicality itself, right? So I'm not intending to work on a muscle, which would require often a little bit more physicality to it. And we're going to eat some bark now, I guess. So I'm just going to stand and focus on that sacral chakra. And I'm not sure if she ate the bark because she actually wanted that. Oh, she's putting me right on her sacrum, so I'm going to follow that. Or if it was more of a way to facilitate release, because horses will often release through the jaw and the lip, like through yawning, all of that expressive motion through the TMJ. And sometimes if they're feeling a little bit stuck, they need something to initiate that release. So chewing on something hard like bark could have been kind of an initiation to allow her body to release. Or it might not be, who knows, but just a thought. So I'm going to stay on sacrum here for a little bit and see what happens. I'm just going to transition over to him and see if hands-on feels appropriate for the heart chakra that came up for him. And heart chakra, I often either do between the front limbs, side of the shoulder, or kind of heart girth area here. And you can go lower, like the whole region and the space around them in the heart area is going to be close enough, appropriate, all of the things. So I'm just going to spend some time here and see what happens. So I went back to work on her, and I was going to go up to the upper neck, but she kept moving, so I put on a halter, not to restrain, but to give her a little bit more support, so that when she has an uncomfortable moment, I can just ask her to stay with it, like right here. So she felt something she didn't necessarily want to feel all the way through her body, and I just asked her to stay with it. Not close to me, not anything, just stay. And then I'll go back and see. As soon as I touch, she doesn't want to actually feel that. So I'm going to go back in again and keep the contact point broader so it's not as pinpointed, and see if that helps her be okay with feeling it. And she's twitching and moving, but not as much. So we're going to try that again. But I'm going to do either off body or just on her hair and the broad area, and see if that is gentle enough for her nervous system to relax into it and let go of the tension, rather than trying to maintain it by moving away. So we'll see if this processes it. There's definitely more blinks going on, because it feels pretty stable to me. I'm going to go back where I felt the strongest feeling in my hand. She had a couple twitches and things going on, but she still stayed fairly soft and blinking. So we're just going to repeat one more and see if there can be a little bit, I was going to say stronger, but a little bit more thorough of a release all the way through. So there I can feel it traveling under my hand. And you can kind of see the twitchy ears. And we'll go back here. And just give it time. There. I can kind of feel it moving under my hand instead of her walking away. And I think on the next big soften, I'm going to be the one to move away first so she doesn't have to. So as soon as I feel appropriate, I'm going to move. I was going to move right before that, and I should have. Yeah, my timing was off there, but that's good. She still released on it, so that's okay. It's all a bit of slowly paying attention to where you make mistakes. And I'm going to go back for a moment in a different spot. Hyoid might be a little much for her. I'll maybe see if I can contact the intention of hyoid from the outside. Nope. Okay. I'm going to see if I can contact the intention of hyoid from down here. So I'm all the way down there. And I'm going to flip to up here. Allowing the boundary of a yes and a no. Checking in again. And again. And that's a no. So staying where we were. And I took a big breath there. I could feel that one. Seeing if on body, nope. Okay. Just gonna wait. And go one more time. I'm actually gonna move up to TMJ and see if that works better for her. And we're going to go back. And I'm going to keep it very brief there and see what that does. And again, I think that was the other horse. Keeping it brief for her. And going back again on the front part of the atlas. Even briefer than I had intended for. And again. There, that settled a little. And again. I'm just going to have the idea of supporting it a little bit. Right along the bottom edge. Feels quite tight. And like it might benefit from the idea of support. So that it doesn't have to hold itself together with muscle tension. She feels kind of melty into that. Like I'm allowed to stay here. So I will for a moment. Maybe even allowing the rest of my fingers to contact and support. We just quietly kind of worked our way through some other things. She had a big lick and a chew and a yawn. And she's been very much leaning on the other mare for support too. Which can be super helpful for body work, is allowing them to have that family, herd support, social support. Oh, and I almost forgot to give an update for me. I am pretty comfortable out in the wind today. I don't even really want to go back inside. So I think that's a win for the challenge on my part at least.